It's about time, so they may be having us go live soon. Let me see. I just want to double check that it is indeed live.
Flippity flopper flu.
If there's somebody in the chat, if you can see us and hear us, let me know. That will make my life easier.
Do we need to go anywhere to see the chat?
Yes. I can give you guys the link to the YouTube video once I figure out which of my many tabs I put it in. Where did I put it? There it is. Go live soon. We are live. I can hear ourselves. Yeah. Alrighty. So let me just give you guys the link so you can keep up with the YouTube chat, and then the other chat is in the BABSCon Discord. It's the Lunar Hall is where we are. We are in the Lunar Hall.
We are.
So we're the moon goddesses. And now I have to find the tab that I put the chat in. There it is. Too many tabs. Too many tabs. All right, so there's the YouTube link for you guys. All right.
There we go. I see. Okay. So then I am going to do something nicer and make it horizontal.
Ah, yes. The landscape view.
Landscape view. Oh, geez. But now I don't have a way to...
Okay. Oh, but you look lovely.
I have to hold it up for an hour.
It's fine. It's no problem. All right, so now that we know that we're live, I think we can do the introductions. Hello, and welcome to Sister Hooves Social, where we're basically going to have a whole panel worth of girl talk. So joining me today, we have the lovely Lightning Bliss.
Wait, what? We do? Where?
Yes.
Where? That's me. Hi. Hi.
Yes. We have the lovely Katie Patterson, also known as Moonlight Sonata.
Midnight Sonata.
Midnight, whatever. Moonlight Sonata.
That's
the actual piano concerto minor detail.
Greetings.
And we have the lovely Aramau.
Hi.
And don't forget the lovely Sweetie Bloom.
And yeah,
everyone on this panel is lovely. Lovely.
Yes, we are lovely ladies, and we're going to.
Breathtaking.
Thank you, Will.
That's Heavy in the background. He's doing a class, I think. So.
And I've got Josh over that direction.
Darn it! I don't have any men in my background. Jeez, I'm left out. I mean, I could get my cat, but she's a girl. Big Mac already found a home.
Don't you have Big Mac?
No, he got adopted.
Oh, he got his forever home.
Yes.
Yay! Oh, I didn't put my goggles on. Oh well.
Oh, we'll live.
It's okay. I got this.
Yeah, we'll know who you are somehow. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
So. My glasses. Oh wait, where am I? Honey, can you give me my glasses?
And this is what men are good for.
It's honestly how we respond to our spouses. We're just like, honey!
Will's like, I'm ignoring you right now.
I actually do have to yell sometimes because of his headphones.
Oh, yeah. So, today we're going to... excellent. So today we're going to talk about basically what it's like being a lady in this bro fandom. So we'll start with the lovely Lightning Bliss. What are your thoughts and experiences about, just being a lady in the fandom?
Wait, starting with me right out the gate?
Starting with you! Because
Yeah,
other than me, you've been in the fandom the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, yeah, we're going by G1.
If we're going...
I get
well,
that.
I technically was a G1 girl,
well,
too.
I mean, like, fandom, G4, YouTuber, going to cons nonsense that we do.
If we're going by that, then I guess it's okay.
Okay. I'm glad I caught your blessing, Mrs. Sonata. Okay. Oh, there's people looking at us. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What was the question again?
What's it like being a girl?
What's it like being a girl in a boys fandom? Sort of.
I'm coming now.
Despite it being generalized as a girl's show, it is a boys fandom.
And a boy fandom.
That is a paradox in itself.
A boy fandom girl show. What's it like?
Yes.
What's it like? Okay, so obviously I am a G1. Well, if nobody knows, I'm actually older than all these girls in here. I'm in my 30s.
I'm in my
Apple's
30s
born.
too. You're just further in your 30s than I am.
Oh, well, welcome to the 30s club. My bad.
I'm not that much younger than you, thank you. Ari's the babu. Let's be honest. She's the babu.
I was born 86. G1 MLP came out. The first episode came out in 1984. My mother recorded it for me, or not really me, but her daughters in general, in case she was thinking, oh, maybe one of us is going to like the show one day. I was that one. But when I got into elementary school, and yes, I have context, I need to pick it up. When I got into elementary school, 5th grade, ponies were no longer cool. Boy bands were cool, so I had to lock my nostalgia away so I could fit in with the crowd.
Back streets back. All right.
So, but then I found out about G4, and I finally got back into it, and then I discovered the word brony was being thrown around, and obviously I had no idea what that was, and so I immediately Googled it. A brony is a young male who is into the My Little Pony show that was created by Hasbro. Jaw drop. My jaw dropped, and then I started screaming, oh my gosh, guys like what I like. It's no longer me liking Dragon Ball or Godzilla or Aliens. Guys like I So I am as happy as a little schoolgirl on Christmas Day. I was so happy to see this. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna make some friends. And that's how it's been like. And I find that this fandom allowing men to get involved in stuff that we ladies like, because it should be equal, in my opinion. If I can like Godzilla, why can't this guy like ponies? So, and the fact that it's allowed men in general to be able to come out and enjoy the show with us ladies and vice versa, it's allowed me to meet wonderful people and make a ton of friends. And it's not just girlfriends anymore, though I have to say, I never thought I would have girlfriends. Because it's been a long time I've had girls to take. These are my ladies, by the way. I hang out with these I hang out with them daily, or I poke them every now and then. So yeah, I have my girls and I have my boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's
We're
and vice
missing
versa.
a couple. We're missing a couple from the girls' squad, but this is pretty much it.
Yep.
I got my girls and I got my boys.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's back there. And they got
one
their
of them
voice.
is in the chat blowing it up. Hi, Silver Quill.
Oh, hello, Silver Quill.
I'm not seeing
Yeah,
it. Hold on, I have to update
I saw
it.
he was like, I'm a G1 girl in a G4 world.
I'm a G4 girl in a G4 world.
How weird. I'm not seeing the chat. I'm not seeing him in the chat.
I see him in the chat.
Well, as long as
in
he's
the
in the
YouTube
chat,
chat.
that's what matters, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's been
Oh,
popping up every once in a bit.
Yeah, he's
One
popping in
second,
there.
someone asked me if I was using my new mug, and I have to go get my. So, Katie or Sweetie.
Yes. What?
You're not. You're next.
Yeah, Sweetie's next.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What's it like to be a girl?
Oh, is Katie going to get a mug? Is that what's going on?
No, Ari's
I'm
getting
getting
a
a
Oh,
mug.
Ari's getting a mug. Well, actually, yeah, Katie, you were going to be next, my darling.
Fine,
Because
fine.
through waifu powers, you joined us.
Yes. It's funny, Bliss. You say I never thought I'd have girlfriends. I never thought I had friends.
Oh.
Seriously, I was a hermit. I was a hermit when I entered this fandom. And honestly, I watched G1 and a little bit of G2 when I was a kid. And then growing up, I got more into like the spooky stuff. I got more into goth rock bands like Within Temptation and Nightwish and stuff like that. I gothed out. And of course, I also focused on my career as an actor, doing lots of theater and film and all that fun stuff. I fell into G4 kind of by accident. Like, I found a random clip of it online because it kept popping up in my YouTube suggestions box, and I'm like, what is this? And it was the scene, the Okie Dokie Loki scene, where with Applejack and Pinkie Pie, where she's trying to look in the barn and Applejack is like stretching her neck to keep up with her, and I'm like, what is this show? I kind of want to see what is this show about? And so it spiraled from there. But it honestly, I was more of a fan of the show then. I didn't enter the fandom until about a couple months later when I moved in with my roommate, whom you guys know as Rena-chan. And that's where I kind of like got to explore a little bit more of the fandom. She's like, oh yeah, I know this person. Yes, I do. And then doing Daughter of Discord, meeting Will, and stuff like that, which is something I want to bring up is like, what is the biggest thing being a girl in this fandom compared to other fandoms? In this fandom and compared to other fandoms, I don't get hit on because everybody in this fandom knows I'm married.
I was gonna say, maybe you don't, being a single girl in the fandom on the other hand, but y'all are married, so whatever.
But seriously, like every other like convention I would go to, like a comic convention, horror convention, anime convention, at least one time in that weekend I would get hit on, at least once, sometimes twice, but at least once. This one never. I'm just like, honestly, it's actually kind of funny. Like, I'll be next to Will. People will recognize me. I walk about 6 feet away from him. Nobody knows who I am. It is the most hilarious thing. I'm like, I'm a ghost.
I'm a ghost.
I'm a ghost. But
I have a story about that, but I don't want to interrupt.
yeah, we'll do that
We'll
later.
get to that story
Yeah,
next.
I got stories for you.
Yeah, but basically, that's my of being a girl in this fandom.
Alrighty. Well, unfortunately, I'm not able to see the chat responses, which is odd. So y'all have to keep me posted, I guess. But next up, we have Miss Aramau. Would you like to give us your story?
What's your story, kid?
Blame my sibling.
Oh.
When this show first started coming out, I was like, okay, I was very indifferent. And then my siblings started watching it. I'm like, at that time, my sibling is gender fluid now, was trans, now is gender fluid. I'm not sure what they want to go by right now, but when they started getting into it, they were full on dude. Gender politics are fun. But I'm like, why are you watching this show? You're a dude. And I was judgy, I'm not gonna lie, because I've grown a lot in the last 10 years. I have. And so I'm not super proud of how my mindset was at the beginning. But he's like, it's really funny. And then he tried showing me a Pinkie Pie episode. I'm not a Pinkie Pie fan. So, but then the thing that got me interested was Fluttershy in that baritone going, she's an evil enchantress.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who was sold on that.
That was awesome. I'm like, oh, this is how the song is meant to be. It's supposed to be a jazz theme. Yeah.
So basically, and so I'm like, okay, they have a sense of humor. I will allow you to show me a couple of episodes, but keep the pink one away from me. So he showed me Winter Wrap Up. And I'm like, okay, Winter Wrap Up. Okay, it's not bad.
Winter wrap up, winter wrap
Yeah.
up.
So I binge watched the first 3 seasons, I think. And then I just cut it off when I moved out of my house because my brother wasn't there anymore. Then I got hired by Josh.
Yeah. And then the waifu came.
No, and then he said, oh, and then one day and then like day 2 of my employment, he said, okay, make a pony. Excuse you?
Make a pony.
Make a
Do
pony.
You must be
Do it.
ponified.
Just do it.
I'm like, excuse? And so he's like, yeah, I want to put you in this video. And I'm like, what? So I went to Pony Creator, and my first iteration of Aramau looked a mess because I didn't know how to color coordinate. I'm not artsy. I'm really not. Like this shirt is
It looks
blue
beautiful
and
on you.
orange. I don't know, whatever. But the purple, the colors were all skewed and nasty, you know. so we had an artist person correct it, and then we had vectors done, and then and that's how I got involved. And funny story about my name. I didn't get the naming convention, so I came up with Aramau because I had just played Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, and someone accidentally mispronounced Amara, you know, the little ice rock dinosaur, little baby brontosaurus thing, as Aramau, and I thought that was cute, so I stole it. And then I had to come up with a reason why that's my name. So look at my origin story on Fab Equestria. So that's why my name's weird.
I had a month of adjusting to your name because I couldn't pronounce
Ari.
it.
Just Ari.
I was just like,
Ari's
so
fine.
Mrs. Scorcher, which I was pretty much calling her like when I met her.
Pretty much.
As soon as somebody becomes a couple or is a potential couple, Sweetie just jumps on that.
I was on it immediately. Like the funny thing is, meeting Ari, the way I met her is basically I get a friend request on Skype from someone calling themselves the Fiery Secretary. I'm like, okay, this can go in two directions. Either A, Josh actually hired a secretary, or B, this is an obsessive fangirl of Josh's who fashions herself as a secretary and is trying to use me to stalk him. We'll find out which one! So I accept the friend request. And she was like, hey, I want to talk to you about your collab with Josh. And I'm like, okay, only a genuine secretary of Josh would know about my collab with him.
Little did you know, Sweetie Bloom, she was both.
Yeah, well, a little bit of both. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm like, okay, so here's a woman whose screen name is entirely dependent on her relationship with Josh. And here's someone that Josh trusts intrinsically with running his life. Why aren't they dating?
He has a point.
To be fair, I met her on like day 5 of my employment, and about a month and a half later, we were dating. So, I mean...
And like how I found out was I was like, okay, so we're going to be going to BronyCon soon. I'm going to be seeing Josh. I'm going to try, and like two things I wanted. I wanted to get to know this girl, like why the heck Josh isn't dating her. Is she like... you know, already married, what, secretly an axe murderer, like, what's going on, why is he already dating her? And secondarily, I want to get, like, I want to manipulate him to get her a present, right? Be like, oh, for your lovely secretary that I don't know why you're not dating. But, like, so I go, I'm like, so who's your favorite pony? And she goes, Josh! I'm like, girl, you are not helping. You are not helping my shipping situation. And she's like, oh, well, actually, yeah, we just started dating. I'm like,
like, Mom, we're done here.
Exactly. I'm like, and done. Easiest shipping I've ever had to do.
So basically, after that, I started meeting sort of one by one. I met Sweetie Bloom first. She was actually the first pony folk I actually got to be friends with. Then I got dropped into a group with Lightning Bliss, Eliora, and some of those guys. And then I met Katie. Actually, no, I met Katie first because she was at the last Equestria LA.
That's right. You were I think you were one of our roommates along with Sweetie Bloom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it was you, me, Will, and Sweetie Bloom in one room.
If I remember correctly. The time I met you was at BABSCon 2017?
2018. I wasn't dating Josh until late 2017.
2018. Got it.
Because you started dating, fun fact, people, you started dating Josh when me and Will got engaged.
Woo! More or less,
and
yeah.
we actually share the same dating anniversary. We both met and decided to date our significant others on August the 6th.
Yep.
Sweet.
And we've basically just been copying them the entire time because they got engaged. Yeah, they got engaged like a year after they started dating.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We started dating 2016. I got engaged 2017. She got into a relationship 2017. And then I got married 2018. You got engaged 2018.
it was just a cycle.
We had to behind them.
It was a year behind it, and every time they're like, "Well, we got this now," and I'm like, "You're copying me! Quit it!"
luckily, our like her proposal was at BronyCon, mine was at Crystal Mountain PonyCon, and our weddings were completely different.
Yes, even though yours is like about 4 to 6 days after my wedding.
Yours is the 27th?
27th of October.
6 days after.
Yep, you're 6 days after my wedding. Yep. Copycat!
Okay, the only reason we chose November 2nd is because we wanted a winter or fall wedding. We wanted a cold wedding, and we wanted it on the 2nd of the month. And, well, November 2nd happened to be on a Saturday. There you go. That's it.
And
it wasn't because we were trying to copy you.
It's like
that's what you say, and you're like,
right, secretly
secret notebook of all mine and Will's tracking, and you're like, okay, Josh, let's strategize. We got to make it a year out so it's not conspicuous.
No, it was funny. I remember like I was like, oh, Katie had a Halloween wedding, and then I was like, my date's gonna be Dia de los Muertos. I'm like, I didn't
realize it was Dia de los Muertos until way later.
Well, anyway, so.
But anyway, I've actually one last little point.
Go for it.
My friends that I've made in this community have actually helped me through moving across the country away from the city that I spent my entire life in. This entire, like, I grew up for 26 years in one city. I've never lived out of it. And so moving 1,500 miles away from my family has been extremely hard. My friends that I've made here, Blissy, Katie, Sweetie, Ellie, Maddie, and the boys. They don't matter right now.
The boys. They're just the boys.
Too many of them.
They have been very, very central in keeping me sane when I miss my family, but mostly my roommates. Because when you live with people who you love so very much, it's very hard to be removed from them. And I love Josh very much. I love you, honey. I still miss my family.
Rainbows.
So being a girl in this fandom has shown that, like, you can develop very, very close bonds with people you never thought you'd actually develop close bonds with, because we're all super freaking different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All
right, Sweetie Boo.
My turn. So yeah, I mean, how I got into the fandom is a story. It's like a friend showed me the show. I was a snob about it at first, but then like I was watching it, and the bridal gossip that she's an evil enchantress. I laughed at that, and then I realized that the reason I was laughing is because it was only funny because it was Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie. And I was like, if any other characters had done that, it wouldn't have been as funny. So I'm like, crud, I'm in love with these characters. Darn it, I'm a brony. That was my realization episode.
Darn it.
Dang it.
I just love your reactions. Like, oh, darn.
Dang nabbit. But it's easier being a girl in the fandom, I think, because we watched My Little Pony when we were kids. I mean, it was colorful, it had ponies, everything that a 4-year-old girl could ever want. And when you go around saying, oh, I like MLP, there's a little bit of an eye raise, but it's not like a big revelation that I know a lot of male bronies have to deal with, like with their families and whatnot. Like my family was more like, oh, so there's another animated thing you're into? That was the extent. I was like, oh, aren't you going to grow out of that Aramau stuff? No. So, it was just add to the list of the things I already loved. I started getting involved in the YouTubiness because I think the first real fandom stuff I got into was Anthony C. and Tommy Oliver's A Canterlot Wedding review. It was posted on the Brony Facebook page of my college. A whole story about how I got into that. But, I was like, this is amazing. Like, they took a kid's show and they made some sort of existential crisis theory about it. That's hilarious. I love it. I was just like, this is awesome. So I just dove headfirst to the whole analysis community. Like, oh my gosh, I love these theories. They're crazy. They're great. I love it. And, as I'm watching, I'm sort of like, I feel like there's like my side isn't really being represented sometimes. Like I was like, oh, you're not saying this thing, for instance, Fluttershy, not a big fan, but the people who don't like Fluttershy are like, oh, she learns the same lesson over and over. I'm like, oh, I don't care about that. What I care about is that she stinks at her job. You know, and things like that. I think the first video I did, don't watch it, dear Lord, was actually inspired by Miss Secretary's waifu. He did a whole thing about Nightmare Moon and how she's a stereotypical villain. And I was sort of like, well, yes, but she's only a stereotypical villain because she's a homage to Maleficent, who is herself such an iconic villain that she became the villain stereotype. So, you know, so I did a video about, like, the only reason she's stereotypical is because she literally takes lines from Sleeping Beauty. You know, it's literally word for word scenes from Sleeping Beauty in multiple parts of that pilot. Thank you, R. I appreciate it. You know, so that was so I felt like there wasn't much, you know, I was like, I want to get my say out. So I started my YouTube channel.
I'm Team Moon Princess. It's a big rift in our house.
I have a quick question for Aramau.
Yes.
You're well aware your husbando praises Celestia, right? How does this work?
His Celestia mug is over there. I don't grab it because it's sacrilege.
Hey, nice butt.
Continue, sweetie blue. We'll talk about.
No worries. Hey,
later.
it's all about the rambling, really. So the thing about girls, you can't get us to shut up once we get talking. So yeah, my favorite princess is Big Mac, but that's another point entirely. But yeah, so I got into it, and I got sort of slowly got a fan base, mostly by helping other people out. And I think the difference is, you know, with female bronies, and I don't use the term Pegasister, I don't like it. I've gotten to the point where I'm sort of like, why are there different words for the same thing because of the gender of the person? Like, I don't get it. Right. We're fans of the same show. Preach. We're bronies. Like, don't give me the Pegasus. Even though my OC is a Pegasus, it would make more sense. I'm like, no. Yeah. I refuse to have a different word for me because of my gender. Like, that shouldn't matter.
The only reason why I have ever used the term Pegasister for myself is because I felt like it gave me more of a whimsical feel. Right. And that's the only reason why I ever used it. I'm like, it's mythical. It feels mythical.
But yeah, so, you know, we go through a lot of the same experiences, but sometimes being a girl, I know Bliss basically came into the fandom married. Katie, you mentioned you came into it married. Ari, what, like 2 days?
Dating engaged.
Dating engaged. Ari, what, like 2 days you were in the fandom before you started dating your waifu, you know? So what is nice about this fandom is there is a respect for that. It's like no touchy, taken, walk away. You know. Yeah, you into Polly? No, sweet.
I honestly can't think of any time that in this fandom, because people know that I'm with Espio, that I've ever really been hit on. Like I said, it's only this fandom I don't get hit on. It feels weird. It's like something wrong?
No, it's that definitely not. Trust me. It's that the fandom respects, you know, boundaries and like, oh, she's taken, you know, and it's like no touchy,
which is something I definitely do appreciate because it's like whenever someone does hit on me, I'm like, oh, honey, sweetheart. No. I'm sorry, but no. Like I've dated out of meeting somebody at a convention one time. We'll never do it again. Won't ever do it again. It was not the best.
Yeah, I mean, the fandom's an interesting place to meet guys, I suppose. I think we've all been there one way or another. I think all here have met either future exes or future husbands on the internet. Am I mistaken with that?
You're pretty much.
I mean, hi.
Yeah. No, you met him in person, right? You just flew over to Germany one day, went to a cafe.
I used to be in a community, more like a clan, a gaming clan in a community that was known as Aliens vs. Predator 2 PC video game. And our clan was called DBH, or Dark Blood Hunters. Super edgy. I met my husband through him joining our clan. and I was basically in charge of the alien team because I was the head honcho. I was the queen alien, and I had to try him out to see what he was good at, and just basically overall get a feel for his personality before I allowed to accept him into the group. So we played a little one-on-one. He wanted to join the alien team. He was a runner class. I was the typical drone. And okay, I owned him.
Oh
I
my.
beat his butt. I beat his butt so hard. And he's like, he immediately assumed because he lost to me that he was not going to be able to join. And he said, hey, well, it was a good game. Thanks for letting me try out. And I said, oh, no, you join. He's like, wait, what? Oh, no, you get to join. That wasn't about you winning. That was about me assessing how you played and were you a good sport. And you were. So welcome to the group. Here are your tags. Here's your rank. Bye now. And I leave. He had no idea I was a girl.
Oh.
This was in a time between the 90s and early 2000s where it was like, girls play video games?
Yeah.
It was also the time where headsets were like crap. And so it's like garbled stuff, so you can't tell who is what.
So we became friends pretty quick within 2 years of him being within the group. And I went through a series of events of loneliness, and that was my phone. Sorry.
No worries.
And it came to a point where I had a bad moment of loneliness, and then I got over it, and then I told him as a friend, and basically saying, yeah, I guess I'm gonna be lonely, and that's okay. At least I have my friends. And he said, well, I love you. What?
I love this.
And then
story.
it spiraled from
story.
there, and before we knew it, yeah, he meant it, and he said he have always wanted to come to America, and now he had a reason to, and he flew down to meet me. And I remember my stepdad right off the bat saying, because I wanted his blessing as well as my mom's, because my dad was no longer with us. I said, can he come over and visit with us for a month? And he said, a man flying all the way down from Germany to see a woman, he's okay in my book.
Nice.
So, yeah, we met each other through the alien fandom.
Listen, it's actually funny. I actually kind of had a somewhat similar experience, but it was with my sister. Like, I was talking on the phone with my sister randomly after me and Will had a date, and she's like, oh, what did you guys do? I'm like, oh, we went to the movies, and then we kind of drove around, and we sang some Broadway show tune. She's like, wait a minute, we did carpool karaoke with you? And I'm like, yeah, and we sung at the top of our lungs. She's like, Katie, you have to marry this guy. No other guy was wanted to sing Broadway show tunes at the top of their lungs in a car before. You have to marry him. There's nobody else.
I will.
You're welcome.
It's like moments like that happen all day, every day, and it's one.
Miss you, Uncle Songhorse.
Okay, Sweetie Bloom, I have a question for you in regards to that. What would be your, if he does this, I'm marrying him right now kind of thing? Now, obviously, this is hypothetical. Your choice is your choice, but I'm actually very curious.
Yeah. I have a feeling it would be something with animals.
No, not necessarily. I'm not huge into they have to have exactly the same interests I do. They just have I'm very much the you don't have to believe what I believe, but you have to respect that I believe it. Like that's sort of how I am. Is like that even falls under religion. Is like we don't have to have the same religion, but you have to respect the fact that I do have a faith, and that's important to me. And if you can't respect that, peace. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a huge Disney fan. I guess if they're fans of Disney, but that's not a huge thing. I mean, they have to like Disney. They have to like Disney because at some point they're going with me to Disneyland, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that I'm going to be geeking out. You know,
I think if I may elaborate on Ari's question, it's not a matter of like if he doesn't have this, it's a deal breaker. It's more of like if this suddenly came up, it's like an automatic "I love you" kind of thing.
Gee, I think the only time that's happened to me was like Disney quotes, like that. You know, they basically we would quote back and forth with Disney. I'm like, dang it. So I guess that, but I don't know. Hasn't come up, I guess.
So basically, you're Mad Munchkin when she's in her super form. quoting her.
quoting Disney.
That was
Yes.
actually something I was thinking of throwing in for my super form. Like when I was going to have a longer script for mine, I was going to have the stereotypical, oh, how do we get her out of it type thing. And the idea of having a Disney quoting contest with me would have been brought up. And Maddie would have been like, oh, heck no, even I can't do that. Like, I don't know if I could win that, you know. Unless it's specifically Hercules, I don't know if I could beat her with the Disney quoting contest, right? And
I'd be surprised.
and the gag actually would have been like that Dr. Wolf would end up being talking to his lady on his phone, and Sweetie would get distracted and de-transform. And then I had like a snarky thing of voice going like, I don't know if I should be more surprised that worked or that that's not what we tried first. Behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, I ended up just like, we're just gonna cut it, the basics.
Yeah, because I think you also were just starting out your new job at the same time.
So I barely could get any recordings in and stuff. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to cut this.
Yeah.
But I really had a lot, like, your Maleficent video was really, really interesting.
Yeah, I love the Maleficent video.
It was, the funny thing is, when I would go back and watch it, I'm like, man, my points are great. My visuals and audio are awful. It's one of those things. I need to go back and redo it. Oh my gosh.
We've all went through it.
we've all had those moments where we're just like I've listened to some of my old covers that I have on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Oh my God, my mixing is terrible. This is why I marry a sound mixer. It makes me sound beautiful.
For me, it's my old story.
Thank you, Will.
For those of you who didn't hear what he says, I refer back to my previous singing.
For me, it's my old writing that I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm. If you don't look back on your old work and cringe at it, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
If you haven't improved since your first stuff, then there's something amiss.
Yes.
So I think I remember, Bliss, you before we open up to Q&A, which I'm going to need your guys' help with, but Bliss, you were talking about a story you thought of while listening to Katie about what were you talking about, Katie? Something about
Yeah. It was about someone. Well, it reminded me of a really funny story that happened at BABSCon where somebody assumed they were my husband because they didn't actually know what my husband looked like. They just assumed he was tall and dark. And yeah, technically that is two ways to describe my hubby. He is tall and he's got dark brown hair.
Did they think Dr. Wolf was your husband?
No, thank goodness.
Okay, because I was like, woo, hold up.
No.
Hold up, children. Both are married to different people.
I mean, that would.
Oh gosh,
I mean, it would have been cute, but nah.
No. So it was during BABSCon. Sweetie was actually at my table, I believe, but I could be wrong. While I kind of, me and Doc walked around the vendor hall for a little bit, and yeah, I have to tell this story to bring up to context because I basically get karma. Anyway, Doc gets into a fluster with one of the vendors because he didn't like the idea of my character being on, even though it was totally safe for work,
I remember
being on a body pillow that was this big. He didn't like the idea, and he kind of went into a rant about it, so I had to pull him away. But the whole time, I am laughing my butt off about how flustered he is.
It's still one of my favorite quotes. I don't care. It's still I don't care. It's still the staccato of it all is the hilarious.
So I finally drag him back to my table, finally coming down from laughter. And at the time, the vendor who was trying to get us to leave, he threw additional YouTuber Prance cards at us. I already had a copy though, so I gave it to Chuggle, who was watching my table with Sweetie. And I gave it to Chuggle. It's like, well, now I'm going to have to get the whole game now, so I'll be right back. He gets up, goes to get the game. A conversation ensues that I cannot hear, but he comes back and he's red in the face. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, he gave this to me for free. He just gave me the game and told me to leave. What did you do? He's like, he thought I was your husband. No, just like you guys right now, and probably just like the chat any second, Doc busted out laughing.
I mean, you're possessive of him guarding your stuff. I'm just saying.
And
I
Solar
ship it.
Flare.
No, you do not ship it!
I can't.
It's the boy!
I can't see the chat, but Silver, help me out here.
It's the boy!
That's the boy.
He's just a kid!
How old is he?
I think he's like
Oh, God.
9.
He's not even 21 yet.
Is
I
he
think he's
not?
like
Oh, okay,
19.
never mind. That is a bit of an age
He's
gap then. If he can't buy you a drink, he's a bit young.
He's a babu. He is
He's a
a
babu.
babu.
Okay, all
He's a
right,
big-time babu.
It was actually so funny. Yesterday, I was on a call with somebody because it was part of my my marketing classes. We have accountability calls, and she's like, "I'm 23." I'm like, "Oh, you're a babu," and she's like, "What's a babu?" I'm like, "Oh wow, I actually have to explain what it is."
I think I first heard that term like Ellie used it, and I used it via context clues. I figured out what it meant.
Yeah.
I think she was mentioning like Josh, basically. Josh is babu, and I was just like, "He's a baby." Yes. Okay, got it.
Okay, sweetie, Silver is saying it took a minute for that to register. There is no denying the ship. No,
Wait, I thought you were shipping
no,
her with
she is
Dr.
not
Wolf.
shipping me with Dr. Wolf. No, she is not.
I can do that too. I mean, no, I actually. The only reason I don't.
I love Joey's. I shall drill holes in thy ship.
The only reason I don't ship Dr. Wolf and Lightning Bliss is that Dr. Wolf has actively said he's not comfortable with me shipping his character, so I don't. There's a line, and that line is other people's comfort. If they like for instance, it took a while for me to ship Josh, but then he got a girlfriend, so fair game there. But he's still, he wouldn't be comfortable if I were to ship him with a dude, so I don't, stuff like that.
It's all in good fun. I
Yeah.
don't take it seriously. It's a joke, but obviously, unfortunately, jokes do have a line, and yeah, I remember Silver Quill actually had to kill a ship for my own protection. I kid you not.
This
That
is
was-
new.
Oh,
This
you didn't
is-
know
I
this
was
story?
right.
I don't know this story.
Okay, so this all started with the Flash Sentry ship.
The ship to end all ships.
Oh yeah.
It was the ship that ended all ships. And you know what? I had fun. I went to war with Silver Quill over this, and it was fun. It's the reason why I made those silly little video skits plastering our characters on movie clips and what have you. It was a lot of fun, and we had fun going back and forth on Twitter, and sometimes we still do. But unfortunately, around BronyCon 2017, I believe, a fan took it too far. And unfortunately, he did that right in front of Silver Quill while Silver was waiting to speak to me. And when Silver saw how upset it made me, because basically the fan kept insisting that my husband is not really my husband and that it's really
Oh.
Flash Sentry, even though I told him you need to stop now. That's starting to hurt my feelings. And he said, okay, well, say hi to your husband, Flash Sentry. Yeah, it just kept getting bad and worse until finally he did leave.
Shipping is
and
not
yeah, so-
consent.
Yeah,
It's like I made it clear that I said, please stop. That's hurting my feelings. But he kept doing it. So Silver saw this and he said, you know what? I'm ending the ship. That broke my heart. But not Silver breaking my heart.
No.
Just it was the fun. And the fun turned into meanness.
Yeah, taking it
Be
too
mean.
far. Yeah.
It sucks. And it's hard because he and I had so much fun with that. But I am thankful that he stood up for me.
Yeah.
And I do hope fans understand that there is a line and you need to recognize it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this happens.
And
I've noticed.
sorry, go ahead.
I've just noticed that, like, even though we're talking about like a lot of like girls in this stream because it's a sisterhood social, I've noticed that our boys are very protective of us and they take very good care of us.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Like not just the ones that we're married to or
Yeah, I've
anything like that,
I've got my boys too.
Yeah, when
Exactly.
Jasper was living with us, I had a lot of anxiety attacks because there was like a lot of stuff that was going around that time. I'm not going to get into it, but you girls know what was going around that time. And Jasper, he was a huge support. He's like, do you need a hug? And I'm like, yes, I need a hug. And he's like, okay, come here, let me give you a hug.
The same thing, literally almost the exact same thing happened to me. I was having like one of those panic attacks. Like I have general anxiety disorder. I was having a panic attack, heart palpitations, all sorts of stuff like that. I think I scared him, but he still was there to hold my hand, you know, because he lived with me after he lived with Katie. And he's still in California with my former roommates and whatnot. But like
he's filling the hole. He's filling the hole.
Yeah. He's very good in-person support. And then then of course Silver and Doc take good care of us, you know. Like Josh obviously did. I think I like to think he takes care of
I should think so. We'd be over there beating him up if he didn't.
I have stories.
Because girls take care of each other too.
I have stories about all these men coming to my defense. So
yeah, Will is another one. He's more of like the quiet protector. He'll like while everybody is like doing like the big warrior stuff, he'll take you and pull you aside, and be like, "Okay, are you okay? Are you okay? Let me make sure that you're okay."
So we do have. We want to express gratitude for the men in our lives, but today it's girl.
It's all about girl time. Yeah, and I'll have my own Joey story too. I remember at the last BABSCon, I was talking to Doc, and it got emotional, and I was like, "Gosh, I need a hug," but I'm talking to Dr. Wolf. Gosh darn it, you know he's not big on hugs. And Joey happened to pass by, and he sees I'm kind of upset, and I just grab him and I just hug him. I'm like, "I need a hug," and he's like, "Okay." I think to this day he still doesn't know what the heck was going on. I was just like, perfect time. Come here, I need a hug.
Uncle Jasper, best Uncle Jasper.
He's good hug fuel. But no, our boys take care of us, but we take care of each other too. Yeah, you know.
that's the kind of thing where I'm like, it was funny when you came to the meeting. It's like, what's it like being a girl in the fandom? I'm like, a difference.
There is sort of like, is there a difference? You know, to a point. You know, I think there are some things that are, and there are some things that aren't. Yeah. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, is this different? It's like, no, that's not different, you know. But the things, like, some of the things I feel like that you wouldn't think are different sometimes are different, you know.
It's true.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like, well, I don't have that problem because I'm a girl, or I do have that problem because I'm a girl, or things like that. So, speaking of, I think now's a good time to open it up to Q&A. I think the chat is working for me now, question mark. If it's not, you guys may have to do with the Q&A.
I actually had to shut off my computer because YouTube's like my whole Chrome crashed. So I'm starting it back up and I'll help out. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
I do see somebody do Maria Cruz. I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm not even going to attempt it.
Maria Cruz Covarrubias.
Thank you. Is wondering if me and will make a horror movie about gyms. I would have to figure out how to work that. I've got a lot of stories on my plate, including one I'm going to be with one of my producers for Only You. We're going to be working on another one
I can't wait for Only You.
Yes,
yeah, me too. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too because because we were running on such a tight schedule. I didn't get to see any of the footage. Because normally you would shoot on a 12-hour day. We only had 8-hour days. So we were just like, we got to get going and we got to get going fast.
Yeah. I get you. I see someone says, question for all of you. Have any of you visited Boston?
I have not, and it is absolutely on my bucket list. Being Boston's sort of like the origin point for most Irish Americans. When we came to America, we stopped in Boston, all of us. And my dad was born in Boston. My grandfather was born in Boston, you know, and there's just a lot of cultural history for me there, and I've yet to get my butt over there. So it's definitely on the bucket list. And my best friend lives there too. It's like all these opportunities, and I still haven't gotten off my butt and gone.
Yeah, I do want to check out Boston. I also want to go to Massachusetts mainly because of Salem, and I'm like, it's land of my people right there. My people. But I also agree with you, sweetie, because I'm also Irish American as well. And so it'd be like, it'd be a great history to see where a lot of my ancestry is from, where they stopped off.
I
I've
haven't.
never been, but I know that the witch boy in the background wants to take me there.
You went to Salem and you didn't stop by Boston? Man, that would have been like first on my list.
We were on a time crunch, unfortunately. I wanted to stay in Salem forever. I think we could only be there for an hour and a half, and then we had to get on the road for BronyCon. I didn't even get to see New York. It was 3 a.m. when we were driving through New York, and yeah, Am wakes me up and he's like, "Hey, we're in New York," and I'm like, "Hello, city that never sleeps. Good night." Okay. Oh wow, questions are pouring in, and I'm sorry, guys. Try to go at names so I can see who's it for.
What has been Z-Blade Grayson? I like this one. What has been your best Brony convention?
Ooh, goodness.
Pacific PonyCon.
Pacific PonyCon was really fun.
Yeah,
First one outside my state.
Yeah, Pacific. I mean, the thing is with like different cons, they have different meanings for me, so it's hard for me to choose one. Like Pacific PonyCon was my first. BronyCon was where I got engaged. And there's just like a bunch of other cons that have different meanings, and so it's hard to choose which one was my favorite.
Yeah, two of the women in here got engaged at conventions, so bias over there. I think what was fun about Pacific PonyCon was that they were catering towards us, and I know that seems very selfish, but it was like a lot of other cons are like, oh yeah, and there's those people. But Pacific PonyCon was like, the reviewers, oh my goodness, which, was embarrassing, but it was also like,
I felt like they really took good care of their community guests over there.
Absolutely.
And I haven't been to Everfree, but I heard nothing but good stuff about Everfree.
Yeah, Everfree's great. I suppose for mine, BABSCon 2018, maybe, I think, would be that one. I think was really special for me in a lot of ways, not least of which being my Sweetie plushie. But I had a huge, I don't know if you guys know this, but I had a huge case of the con depression after that one, because I was like, I don't want to go. That one was just really special, being able to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious Crystal Mountain PonyCon, the final Crystal Mountain PonyCon, 2019, not 2019, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
I actually really, really loved my first BronyCon, my only BronyCon, which was BronyCon 2018. It was. No, I started dating Josh in 2017.
But you weren't there
at 2017.
Yeah, we only met at Equestria LA.
Yeah.
That was that same year.
BronyCon 2018. How did I fit 2 conventions in? How did I fit 3 conventions in 2018? Anyways, but oh yeah, because BronyCon was earlier in the summer, and then there was never mind. Then there was Crystal Mountain, and then and I loved actually BABSCon 2018 as well. That's when I started. For those of you who don't know, I was Golden Gates last year at BABSCon 2019, and 2018 was what got me interested in participating in the staff. So I had a good time. Plus, Fiara is always a bonus.
Fiara is fun.
Yeah. Actually, I changed my answer a little bit. Sorry, I just want to change my answer. BronyCon 2017, I got to meet Anthony.
It's funny, everyone calls Will the string bean boy, and I'm
man, I mean, I love him to death, and he got a little aggravated. He's like, why is everyone mentioning how tall I am? He's like, can't they mention how charming I am, or anything like that? No, it's always about my height. But the man is 6'9".
Tall.
He a tall boy, but he is a charming boy.
Yeah.
He is. He's a very charming boy.
He's too charming. I'm just trying to talk to him. Don't tell him I said that.
I will, I remember sending your Christmas greeting to him, and you're like, "Hi,
I still have it.
senpai," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, she's adorable."
One thing that just came up that I really love, especially with all the craziness going on in the world, to everybody, what is something you want to do once the lockdowns are done? For me,
I want to go
I
out
want to
to
do an
eat.
escape room. I want to do an escape room so bad. I miss them so much.
I want to go sit down at a restaurant. That's really what I want.
I didn't actually get to answer.
Yeah,
the,
let's get
the
listed and
question.
answer the other
Oh,
questions.
sorry, I thought you did. My bad.
Okay, I know I said Pacific PonyCon, but actually, when I thought about it, even though it was its first and unfortunately last, it was High Roller PonyCon, and
That you
now
did have a lot of fun with that. I remember.
I didn't make normally when I go to cons, because this was an agreement with my husband, if I'm going to a con, I have to vend and I have to do well at it. I didn't do so well at that con, but everyone spoiled me so rotten because it was my birthday week. And this was the first time I celebrated my birthday with friends in it's been 2 decades. I only celebrated my birthday with family after the last time, because the last time I celebrated with friends, they didn't show up.
Oh.
It hurt a lot. But no, during High Roller, that was my birthday week. Dusty Cat spoiled me with a very suggestive cake.
I remember when that cake came in. I think
I think I saw it on Twitter. Yeah.
I think he actually told me what was coming, and I'm like,
No.
okay.
We went to a magic show.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
so much fun.
Rainbows! We also got a party bus to take us to the magic show.
Party bus,
Nice.
that was amazing.
And then we went on the big Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel was
That's how you
fun.
got your famous amber mask.
Oh yeah.
Yes! I was showered with presents for the first time by friends that wanted to be there with me. It felt amazing. But Fiora went crazy, apparently, and there was a poker game with the guests of honor, and I don't know if she set this up or not.
Oh,
He did.
yeah,
He
I
told
remember
me.
this. I
He
wasn't
told
there,
me
but I
what
saw it on
her
Twitter.
plan was.
She,
I don't know
she
what it was
set
about
it
the
up.
con, but everybody was telling me what they were like going to do to other people, and I'm like, I have.
I didn't know she
games I could
planned
play.
this though, because apparently Vincent Tong and Bill Newton fought over me. that was I needed to go, and Vincent wouldn't let me leave until he got a selfie with me. So I'm like, I need to get to my friends. We're going on a bus soon, and he's like, nope, picture. I didn't want a picture. I just wanted to leave.
And then I think Bill was photobombed it, didn't he? Like he was in the back.
Yeah, Bill Newton
Yeah.
photobombed it.
That was my favorite thing in the whole world. I was like retweeting the heck out of this. This is hilarious.
Okay, but anyway,
this is the
oh
stuff
gosh.
you can enjoy about being a girl in the fandom.
Yes.
Voice actors fighting over you, even though you're married.
I think we broke this. I think
we
we
may have.
broke her.
We may have.
broken
broken
it.
it. All right, we might have
Well,
time for
well-
one more question. If you guys would like to select that for me, because I'm still not sure if the chat's up to date on my end.
I picked one. Ari picked one. Someone picked one.
Well, I did pick what we were gonna do.
Oh yes,
Once the lockdown.
lockdown is over. Yeah.
I actually have gotten into. I've recently started doing journaling, and I actually mark how many days we've been in lockdown, and I have ready like how many days the post-apocalypse is going to start. Once the lockdown is like completely done, it's like post-apocalypse day one.
Okay. I got the Blazing Optimist had a really interesting, thought-provoking one for everyone. How do you think MLP has or hasn't changed the view of women in children's quote-unquote programming?
I think it has a lot, to be honest, because the reason why everyone got, like, way back in the day, and I have to be the one to talk about the day, because I started in the community proper, like, 2013, 7 years ago. Oh, gosh. But way back in the day, the reason people got, like, crazy obsessed about MLP was because it was a kids show, and it was tolerable, and it was the only one. Like, all the other kids shows were like, oh yeah, then whatever. Like they were kind of phoning it in. Like, there wasn't a lot of thought about characters or stories. Like, there wasn't a lot of care and heart put into a lot of shows. then it became a trend. Like when the Brony thing blew up, a lot of the other production companies started going, oh, people actually respond positively to actually, putting, deep, thought and effort into these shows. So things like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, and things like that. They all started
versus the Forces of
Star
Evil.
versus the Forces of Evil. Like they all started, and then they were
even.
Phineas and Ferb. Yeah, I mean they were all trying to not exactly copy MLP. I don't want to say there's some sort of copyright problem, but they.
Trying to make it accessible, like kids could watch it, but adults could more of an accessibility to everyone rather than just one targeted audience.
Right, absolutely. And also like that girls shows as well, because you got things like Transformers, things to blow up, and that's what guys like, and you got things like My Little Pony and Everything's Friendship or whatever, that's what girls like. And finding that actually we like both. I don't know if that's something you knew, like, because I remember as a kid, for instance, when I was at my babysitter's, there was Barbie and Lego time, and the Legos were for the boys and the Barbies were for the girls, and I couldn't stand Barbie. I did not want to play with the Barbies, so I sat in the corner and did nothing until.
Thank you. I feel you.
My 3 favorite animated TV shows of all time, other than like MLP, which is probably in the top 10 somewhere, is Teen Titans, Kim Possible, and Danny Phantom.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are about heroes,
right?
And versus bad guys and exploding things and super secret agents or superheroes. Not a girly.
I did not have a girly growing up, like not just children's shows, but adult shows, because I watched a lot of adult stuff growing up. My parents were very lenient. Like I grew up with a bunch of John Wayne movies. I grew up watching James Bond. I grew up Beast Wars, Roughnecks, it's like Starship Troopers. Like I watched a little bit of Star Trek when it was on the TV show. But the thing that I watched a lot, especially as a kid, was X-Men Evolution. I loved X-Men Evolution. Nightcrawler was my boo.
Nightcrawler's the best.
He was the best.
He's everyone's waifu right there. Like, come on.
He was my favorite. I'm
Heck yeah. Raise your hand if Nightcrawler was your waifu. Be honest now.
That's why when the second movie came out and they're like Nightcrawler's in it, I'm like, yes! Yeah! Like, Nightcrawler's the only good thing about this film!
Alan Cumming did a great job.
He did a really good job.
Anyways, so people have started to understand that girls don't just like Pink and Barbie and Bratz and bleh. So why would it be the same for boys? Why would boys only like explosions and robots and ninjas and pirates? They can like good characters. Doesn't matter what. Doesn't matter if they have an X or Y chromosome at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to pose this to you guys. I don't know if you noticed this, but I kind of noticed this when I'm watching the series, like just watching it through. The first season is very girly, slumber parties, trying on dresses and stuff like that. The second season onwards, they start incorporating more broader stuff. Stuff started getting scarier. Like, for instance, in the season 2 opener, Applejack with the piles of apples with the faces on them. I'm like, to a kid, that would be terrifying. That would be terrifying. But they started incorporating different stuff that made it more that's when it really started becoming more accessible to everybody in season 2. That's what I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Discord deconstructing someone's psyche and taking what makes them special and unique and powerful and turning it against themselves to the point where they become so warped. That no gender.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly something like that would honestly be something in like a 1 hour like thriller stuff, like maybe Supernatural or something like that. You would not expect that in a children's show,
and they did it.
They did. I'm in the same boat as like John Bluth, where like kids can handle a lot of stuff, but as long as you tack on a tappy ending, it's okay.
And as long as the parents are involved in it as well, like you're just gonna don't be like Don Bluth with the troll in Central Park.
Oh,
Where an adult, where
We
an
do
adult will
not
not wanna
speak of
sit-
it.
no.
Where an adult won't want to sit through it and talk with their children about it. Be an American Tale, where
Mhm.
the adults and the children can enjoy it. The children can talk with their parents about what they're thinking, what they're feeling while they're watching it, and the parents can help explain or identify with them. It's a bonding moment.
Land
Do
Before
that, and
Time.
you will have
Heck
do
yeah.
that, and you will have a great movie or
The
a great
first one.
show or great everything.
Absolutely. All right. Unfortunately, we are actually went a little over, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. Us girls, we never shut up. So, thank you for everyone who joined us. So it's going to be goodbye from Aramau.
Bye.
A goodbye from Katie.
Bye.
Goodbye from Blissy Bliss.
Apoito Zane.
And goodbye from me. And thank you all for joining us. Now, we're actually going to end up being live a little bit longer because I just told them, Kay,